Yo, 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 yo! What is up, everybody? This is another episode of Jony and Kenton. We are back here. We couldn't run. We're recording this from Saturday, June the 2nd, and I know we're only supposed to do the month of May, but a certain album came out yesterday, and we gotta talk about it.
Yay! Yay! Finally dropped the heat. Finally did what I wanted him to do. Did everything I needed him to do. Perfect. Perfect album, in my opinion.
Kenton, I'm gonna let you start this off. Give us your breakdown of Ye by Kanye West.
Alright, bro. So first, let's start from the very cover. So, iPhone shot, Wyoming mountain range. Beautiful cover. Simple text. This is pretty much everything that Kanye does with fashion in a photo. He just makes normal, basic things look beautiful in their natural setting. So yeah, he's starting off the album with some beautiful imagery, definitely. Shouts out to Apple for the great camera.
Yeah, Kanye has been very big since The Life of Pablo on the idea of a stream of consciousness is the dopest thing you can make. And I vibe with it. I vibe with that idea that your most true, pure thoughts come from the form of a stream of consciousness because it's unfiltered and it's genuine. And through that authenticity, you get your best work. And it definitely delivers again with this cover, with this album process, and also with the music too.
Yeah, actually, Push said in an interview that Kanye's been working on this album and all the other albums that he's somehow managed to all release in June for the past 2 to 3 years. So he's just been digging in thousands and thousands and thousands of crates for records and stripping samples from them. And this is definitely proven in this album. Sonically, the best album I have ever heard in my lifetime, all 23 years of my life. Fantastic. Sonically. So the album is only 7 songs. It's 1, I Think About Killing You, 2, Yikes, 3, All Mine, 4, Wouldn't Leave, 5, No Mistakes, 6, Ghost Town, and 7, Violent Crimes. So this all totals out to be about 21, 22 minutes. It's a journey, definitely. You're not gonna blow through the album with no feeling. This album is loaded with passion, some definite clear messages, some not clear messages, which we would talk about a little bit more in depth, but easily just a great, great album. I was expecting less based on the past Kanye works, but he completely came through and delivered. Everything that I was hoping for with way back when Yeezus was dropped, my expectations were really high, and he just gave all of those expectations back to me with this album. I feel really good about Ye sonically with this album for sure.
Yeah, right now my initial thoughts before we jump into a track by track breakdown, I think that the process for this album was a really smart idea given the hole Kanye has seemed to dig for himself. It definitely has not been a good month for Kanye.
No. Not at all.
Yeah.
That's an understatement.
I like the idea that he did go to Wyoming to record this. It kind of goes back to that Ralph Waldo Emerson American Transcendentalist. I sound like a pretentious asshole by saying that, but you go to a cabin in the woods to really escape from all the distractions of the world and focus on nature and the reality of the circumstance you're in. I think that was a really smart idea, just being around so much, not boring shit, but taking away all distractions just so you could focus on what's really pure, I think really reflects in this album sonically. But for me, I definitely am conflicted. The way that I'll be approaching my analysis for this album is based off of the 3 modes of persuasion. If you guys have ever sat down in an English class or a literature class, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's the idea that any form of persuasion breaks down into 3 main categories, which are ethos, pathos, and logos. Ethos being the ethics of who's saying it, which is the character of that person and the credibility of that person. Logos being the logic behind what the person is saying. And then pathos, which is the emotion behind what the person is saying, how the person says it. Those 3 things in conjunction form the structure of a persuasive, or in our terms, a project that is of a high quality. So for me, my breakdown would be 100% on the pathos part. I mean, we've always known Kanye has been like just raw human emotion, and that's what makes him so authentic and have such a cultural impact on the way we see music. So in terms of pathos, that's like straight 100% with this album, because he just took that and even got better at it, which is crazy. For me, the Logos was like split 50-50 in that he acknowledges his flaws really well in terms of mental illness, the stuff that he's been saying the past month, his situation, his family setup, how crazy it is being in the public spotlight. I think he does a really good job of, talking about that. But at the same time, I feel like given what Kanye has done this month, I don't think that is enough to justify a lot of the things that he says on this album. So I'm like torn 50-50. We'll get into that a little bit more as I talk about the album in terms of Logos. And then finally, Ethos, I give a straight 0% on. This man's credibility is shot in my mind. So if you take the summation of what I just said, like the grades I gave him on Ethos, Pathos, and Logos, you can really tell I'm torn here. I'm like super conflicted with this album because my heart loves it, my brain hates it, and somewhere in between that is like me as a human being. So I'm just like really fucking torn.
For me, as far as music goes, in general, I think I side on the air of Kendrick in this matter of I don't really care about what you do as a person. Like, your art is your art. Now, that doesn't excuse your actions as a person. I don't have to like you as a person, but I can still like your music, and I don't have to support you financially by liking your music. There are definitely ways around that. So I think for me, I like the music a lot. I don't agree with Kanye's actions or beliefs, but if he keeps putting out records like this, I won't have any arguments against him as an artist.
That's definitely a good standpoint to have. I think for those who are able to consciously be able to separate the artist from the art itself, it is pretty impressive. I know that's like a huge philosophical debate to understand if that's ethically a good thing or not, but that's not one I'm gonna have right now. It's too exhausting and I'll waste too much of our time. To be completely transparent with whoever's listening to this, I did not stream the album. I didn't buy the album. I for sure bootlegged it because I consciously did not want to support Kanye with my money, but I did want to listen to the album, so that was like my best way of going about doing that.
I will second that. I also listened to the album the first time bootlegged, but then I ended up streaming it when the album came out on streaming platforms because I pay for streaming platforms because I think the art is that good. That was my reasoning behind streaming it, but I don't disagree with yours either.
And I don't disagree with yours at all either. I think that's what makes this album so, I guess, controversial in a way, but at the same time so good. And bad. I don't know. I'm just fucking conflicted.
Yeah, man. That's what Ye does though. He always challenges you with everything. Every single action he makes, whether if it's art or not, he's always challenging you somehow.
Before we jump in real quick, let's highlight our favorite tracks off the album, just so we can get those knocked out of the way for the users, and then we can jump into every track like song by song.
Oh man, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Having to do song by song, which one's the best one? Actually, someone asked me this last night, and I had a really hard time trying to nail down specific songs. But I got you. I got the ones that I like and the ones that I'm all right with.
It's pretty much the one song you want the audience to hear. For me,
yeah.
For me, I know my favorite track. And it's, I don't know what it is, probably because I think Karma is going to give me a daughter.
Dude, no, don't say it. No.
Dude, it's for sure Violent Crimes.
They gotta repaint the colors. The light is wearing off. Reality is upon us. Colors dripping off. Colors dripping off.
Niggas is savage. Niggas is monsters. Niggas is pimps. Niggas is players. The niggas had daughters. Now they precautious, Father forgive me. I'm scared of the karma, cause now I see women as something to nurture, not something to conquer.
Dude, that was mine. Fuck.
It's so good. It's so good. Even everything that I said about Ethos, Pathos, Logos, all of that shit, yeah, they're all 100% for Violent Crimes. This is a top 10, maybe a top 5 Kanye West song. The substance of it is ridiculous because it rings so true about how, especially us as young men, have been raised almost socially, especially being young men of color, to be players, to be like pimps.
To be savages.
Yeah, to be
and
savages.
to have a daughter.
And just dealing with that. The line that stuck out to me the most was, even if I beat her ass for like being a slut, she's just gonna run to that guy that she's in love with, and then he's gonna do the same to her, and then it's just gonna be twice as bad.
Yeah.
Like
that was heavy.
That hit me. That hit me the ethers of my soul, bro. I cried to this song almost. Like, I was at work just like about to tear up because I was like, oh fuck, that's gonna happen with my daughter.
Dude, yeah. Yo, one, shouts out to you for listening to the album at work, because I could not do it. Like, I was so busy at work, I wanted to listen to it, but I'm so glad I didn't. I'm so glad I was in a point where I was like by myself and I could just listen to the album. I wasn't like by myself, of course, like I was in the gym, but like to me, that's by myself, because no one's talking to anybody at the gym. Like, you're just in there to get work done. You're in there to make gains. So
yeah. But what was your favorite track again?
Oh yeah, definitely. I second you on Violent Crimes being my number one. But if I had to pick another one on top of Violent Crimes, it's probably the Wouldn't Leave track.
Man, I know you wouldn't leave. They said build your own, I said halfway. I said slavery a choice, they said hi, yay. Just imagine if they caught me on a wild day. Now I'm on 50 blogs, getting 50 calls. My wife calling, screaming, say we about to lose it all. Had to calm her down cause she couldn't breathe. Told her she could leave me now, but she wouldn't leave. I know you wouldn't leave.
Wouldn't Leave is heavy.
Yeah.
When he talked about the like financial crisis he went through, and Kim was like freaking out, I was like, bro, like I had a feeling that happened, but I didn't think it actually did. And he just like was straight up about it. He's like, yo, she was freaking out.
Kanye was at the point where he loved Kim so much that he was willing to let her go just because he knows like that he didn't want to put her through what Kanye was bringing on himself. And the fact that she stayed,
Bro.
Amazing. Like, that's the testament of women. That's the testament of love. Like, real love. And, like, I don't give a fuck what you think about their relationship. If you do some shit that can hurt your whole family and your wife, who has the perception of being obsessed about money and all of this stuff and of her brand and everything, the fact that she was willing to still stay with you even though you sacrificed a part of her brand and her perception and your family's perception, like, that's love. Like, I don't really care when you see something that pure happen, you gotta respect it.
Yeah, 100%.
But to go
and
back
the
to
Ty Dolla Sign feature. The Ty Dolla Sign feature. Oh my gosh. And the Jeremiah Subtle note.
Yeah, shouts out Ye in general for just sneaking in crazy nice features all around here, background vocals and all that. I definitely wish I did what you did, which was like listening to it in the space of like not loneliness but isolation, so I could absorb it, because like Kanye was hitting me, he was hitting me, and I was sitting there trying to write out code, and I was like, I just fucking can't right now.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt when I listened to it, because I literally walked into the gym, played the album, and I was like, man, I'm so glad I'm not at work right now, because I can't deal with people talking to me. Like, I can't deal with thinking about other things. Like, I just want to listen to this album and take it for everything that it is. Actually, yeah, I had the best experience I've had probably since the time we went to Chicago and went to the music festival, and then like met those random artsy kids, just like had a rager with them afterwards. Like, that's definitely up there, like one of the best times of my life so far.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. That was amazing.
Dude, yeah, that shit was wild. But yeah, so up there with that is definitely this album's experience, because like I listened to the album in the gym. So one, I was already hype as shit listening. Like, I had the best lift I've ever had in my life, easily, just off of Yikes alone. When Yikes dropped, I was like, oh, I'm about to kill these weights, and I did. But then after listening to the album probably 5 times in a row in the gym alone, like during the whole gym session, I didn't even touch my phone as far as musically. Like, it was just the same thing over and over again. But after the gym, I left back to the parking garage to get my car, and I was like, all right, you know what, I need to listen to the album again. Like, I need to do it again. So I like drove to the top of the parking garage, and it's just like open to the sky like normal parking garages, and I was like the only car at the top of this parking garage, and I was like, yo, this is about to be a beautiful moment, because it had just like, there was just this gigantic thunderstorm, so the clouds were like purples, blues, and greens, like heavy purple, blues, and greens.
Oh
and just pine trees like surrounding the parking garage. And I was like, yo, I'm about to do this. And like I just parked the car in the middle of the parking garage, got out the car, turned the stereo all the way up, and just played the entire album front to back, and just had a good time, man. Just like danced and like listened, and just like was free. Like had no thoughts, no people. It was beautiful. Like the best experience. Like if you ever have a good album, I highly suggest you go somewhere where no one's around you. It's like a beautiful day and just listen to the album.
What Kanye did in Wyoming, you just did in that parking garage, and that's amazing. That's like the best. I'm so happy for you that you got to have that moment, because that's what Kanye wanted like everybody to have. Like you put yourself in the ideal environment to truly absorb this album the way it was intended to be, and it hit.
Yeah, I'm really glad that I was like in the space to do it, because with most albums I would have just like driven home and showered and whatever and been like, all right, then I'm just gonna listen to the album. But for this album, like I really like, one, I've been thinking all day, like why did he go to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, out of all places, although there is like a beautiful spa resort up there. Shouts out to Jackson Hole if anybody doesn't know about that. I didn't know about that until the other day, so I'm not acting like I've been on this game for a while. But why Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and why have a bunch of people randomly fly out like with 2 days notice talking about, yo, the album's gonna be in Jackson Hole, and just go listen to the album? And then I thought about it and I was like, yo, he just threw the best party of all time. Like this man literally released his album in nothing but beautiful nature and mountains with his niggas in Wyoming, like a place where niggas are not even thought of to exist.
Yeah.
He brought people there, and it was just like, yo, let's just listen and have a good time.
He brought the culture into his world, where so many people bring their culture into the world. Like that was so crazy to me. And I know like a bunch of radio stations and like people were saying like it's kind of like coonish for Kanye to go to Wyoming to record this album. Like that's bullshit, dude. Like we gotta stop making stuff like this about race. Like I think,
it has nothing to do with race. It's just experience, man.
Yeah, and like especially if you're like not about the Trump presidency, I think what Kanye is doing is actually like really inspirational, because he's trying to bridge worlds together. Like it's about uniting us and showing us that we have more in common than what separates us. And like by going to Jackson Hole and just taking like niggas from the Bronx like to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, to like show them like how beautiful nature is and to show how people live out here, I think is dope. Like let's not compare this to like having like a bonfire with Klansmen. Like let's just enjoy the nature for what it is and appreciate the sky and the mountains.
Yeah, he's definitely breaking down these stereotypes of like, especially in Black society, like you can't enjoy nature. Like you're only living in the city. Like you can't actually enjoy the things that white people quote unquote enjoy, because that's for white people. And it's like, no, like these are for people. God made the earth. It's not like he made it for like certain sections for certain groups of people. Like you're supposed to enjoy everything that is on the planet, and like you're secluding yourself from those experiences. And so he's like actively trying to tell you, like, you're putting up your own walls. Like don't put yourself in a box when you don't have to.
Like that's the thing that I really liked about the way Kanye used these like features and background vocals, is it all sounds like it's still like one cohesive person. Like even like Young Thug's feature, Ty Dolla $ign's feature, Jeremiah's feature, the way that Kanye like edited his own voice made really smooth transitions between the features like vocally, such that it sounds like it's just the mindset of one person. Like it's not even about Kanye. It's like not even about Ty Dolla $ign. Like it's just about the idea of the song. Like it's bigger than the artist. With that being said though, let's jump into this track list.
Alright man, number 1, I thought about killing you.
I love myself way more than I love you. And I think about killing myself. So best believe I thought about killing you today.
Premeditated murder.
I called up my loved ones, I called up my cousins, I called up the Muslims, said I'm about to go dumb. Get so bright it's no sun, get so loud I hear none, scream so loud got no lungs, hurt so bad I go numb.
Thoughts?
First of all, my first read was like, yo, this nigga's crazy. I was like, oh, he really out here. Like, word? Like,
Dead ass, that was my thoughts too, though.
But then, you know, you go back, you listen to it, and even after the first listen, you think about it, and like, as crazy as the topic is of murder, he talks about the feeling that you have of just love and hate. And like, if I'm approaching this from the pathos standpoint, we've all been there. Like, you probably don't want to admit it, but you've been there. Like, we've all been there. Of like the fact that you just can't even believe that this person is putting you through this, or is thinking this, or you have such a big disagreement with this person you genuinely care about. Like, that thought, as malicious as it is, will slip in. And like the idea that the most beautiful ideas come from the darkest of places.
My beautiful dark twisted fantasy.
So yeah, in terms of pathos, like I was there with it. In terms of logos, like I said, like this nigga crazy. And then in terms of ethos, I was like, what else do I expect from Kanye? Like, considering the month that he had, of course he was gonna make this. I'm pretty disappointed that he's trying to do this in a braggadocious way. So, just mad conflicted. Like I said, this song is a great example of me being super damn conflicted with this album.
Yeah, my first thoughts, again, I was like, yo, I don't expect anything less from Kanye than a song called I Thought About Killing You. And him literally going, I thought about killing you multiple times. And I was like, you know what? Okay, Kanye, I see you on this you're really taking this free thinking thing seriously. Like, you're really about this. I was like, all right. But I kept listening. And then actually when I finished listening to the album, like for the 5 times that I listened to it during my workout, when I got in the car afterwards, when I was actually leaving like the gym, I was just driving, and at this time my phone had died because I listened to the album like consistently on full blast, so my phone was done for the day, and I had no music, but I didn't need any music. I was just thinking about that one song, like I thought about killing you, and I was like, yo, in the line where he's like, just say it, like just say it, it's okay to say it. It's like you really need to just get these things off of your mind, off of your chest. And so I spent the car ride just like having a cathartic moment of just confessing everything that I've done wrong in my past. But then is like immediately after I said all those things, like it was just like a release. And then I was flooded with all the thoughts of the things that I'd done like good in my life. And I was like, you know what? This is a great song. Like if everybody has this reaction to this song, then I completely support and promote this song. But at the same time, it's like some people could take this a really odd way, and they could take this as like, this is okay for me to think these thoughts, and there's nothing I should do about this. And like, yo, maybe I should act on these. And it's like, no, that's not where he's trying to go with that. But it's art. Like, you have no control over people's perception of the art. It is what it is.
Exactly. What you just said there, like a couple of seconds ago, is the ethos part of me, where it's just like, due to Kanye's credibility and the hold that he has on the culture, I worry that he incentivizes like crazy people being like, you know what, Kanye said this, so that is okay. Like, I will go do this fucked up shit. So like, just really fucking conflicted.
But also making that point, I would like to caution people today in like the things that are happening in our country. And I specifically mean in our country because the gun violence attacks in our country is like 10 to 20 times the amount of any other country around the world. I would like to caution people in saying that let's not associate Kanye West with those attacks just because he has this one song. Let's not make this song a scapegoat for what's going on. Like, people were thinking about this before this song came out, and the addition of this song is most likely not going to cause 30 or 40 more gun violence attacks to happen. These things have been happening, like, not only in big popular places, in small places like Noblesville, Indiana, which no one fucking has ever heard of Noblesville, Indiana in their life, but I live in Indiana, so I know where Noblesville, Indiana is, and I've been there multiple times, and it's definitely a big deal, and it's something that we should address. But don't use Kanye as a scapegoat for that, because that's not what it's about.
Definitely. I don't think Kanye's goal is to promote violence with this. If you're reading into it like that, you're reading into it wrong.
Yeah, I think a good way to summarize that is by the famous quote by Terry Pratchett. It says, if you do not know where you come from, then you do not know where you are. And if you don't know where you are, then you don't know where you're going. Also, to finish the quote, and if you don't know where you're going, you're probably going wrong.
Nice. That was a good one, man.
Yeah, shouts out to my parents, man. they learned something in high school.
The next track we got is Yikes.
Hey, hospital been 100 bands, fuck a watch. 100 grand and make your best friends turn to ops. I hear y'all bringing mine, aim up a knot. Guess I just turned the clout game up a notch. See, y'all really shocked, but I'm really not. You know how many girls I took to the titty shop? If she get the ass with it, that's a 50 pop. I still bring the bad bitches in the city, y'all.
Yikes, yikes, that sounds like some white girl shit. Sorry, I had to say that. It's just first thought on my mind.
This was just Kanye wilding out. Like, I still think, going back to my breakdown of pathos, ethos, logos, the pathos in me was like, yo, Ye is still free. Like, you can't put Ye in a box. Like, and that's crazy because he's been broke at this point. He has a mental illness. He's dating a Kardashian, and he's in the spotlight all the time, and he still has the balls to say all of this stuff that he says on this track. That's pretty crazy. The ethos in me is like, yo, I'm not fucking with this track at all. Lyrically, there's nothing of substance. It further enforces the perception that he has as a person who is an open Trump supporter without facts, without knowing the policy, and somebody who acts on feelings rather than actual facts. This is dangerous, and I mean, it just enforces the negative perceptions I had coming in to this project. Then the logos in me is like, at least he's acknowledging it, at least that's the first step. Like, at least he's acknowledging this is a part of me, and that can be powerful. Like, something good will inherently come from him acknowledging it. So
yeah, you're bringing up a lot of good points, man. I really like this song though because of how hype it is. Like, the beat, I'm gonna break this song down into two sections. So sonically, the beat is so up tempo but so simple. Like, I feel like he made a really complex beat in the beginning and then stripped it all down. It was just like, nah, we just need like this low key horde in the back, just going like, like that's just going to get niggas right there. And like from a lyrical standpoint, yeah, Kanye. I mean, even thinking about his chorus though, the chorus is like, shit could get menacing, frightening, get help. That's the chorus. But then he starts talking about 2CB, and I'm like, okay, I could see Ye doing that. That makes sense.
Yo, I heard 2CB is crazy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a synonymous to ecstasy, like an ecstasy substitute.
It's like a mix between like Molly and acid.
But yeah, returning to the lyrics, one of the most popular lines you all probably seen on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. Russell Simmons want to pray for me too. I'm gonna pray for him because he got me too. I lost my shit when I heard that. Like, I was in the gym literally laughing out loud because that is so funny. All of the bars are real. They're just super controversial at the same time. Like, after the second chorus, he goes into the second verse and he's like, hey, hospital bands, 100 bands, fuck a watch, 100 grand, will make your best friend turn to ops. It's like, yeah, that's true. Like, I mean, I don't know, I don't have 100 grand, but if I did, I'm sure a lot of my family and friends would be like, yo, let me hold something. And it's like, nigga, what you do to get this? Like, why should I give you any of my money? But all of a sudden you want to burn me for any little thing that I do because I got money. But yeah, a lot of this. Another great line from Kanye. So many great lines in this song, bro. See, I'm really shocked, but I'm really not. You know how many girls I took to the titty shop? I was like, yo. I was like, Kanye on some real shit, because he probably has bought a lot of titties, though. And then he follows that with, if she get the ass with it, that's a 50 pop. I still bring the bad bitches in the city out. Just a different type of leader. We could be in North Korea. I could smoke Wiz Khalifa. I was like, all right. This nigga just brought up the Amber stuff again, also deading it at the same time. This is one of the songs that people really need to like listen to lyrically, because it's so funny but it's so real at the same time.
So I'm like not mad at this track at all, honestly. The thing about All Mine is you could take that song and put that on like Life of Pablo, and it still probably would have been one of the best songs in Life of Pablo.
Yeah. Also, when he mentions like, well, he's in the chorus and he's just like going on one of his rants or whatever, he just says like, ask your homegirl right now, look, you had a shot at Ye. It's like, sometimes I scare myself. You drop everything. It's like, even though they know like he's going through a lot of stuff, or he's gone through a lot of stuff, like they don't care, because they know how big of a deal like Kanye is. So like the girl will still like drop everything she has, just take that one shot. And I'm like, yo, that's so true. That's so true though.
To the point where Kanye's even scared of himself, but women are still willing to dive in.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's like, they take me off meds, ask yourself. Ask your homegirl right now. Look, you had a shot at you dropping everything? And you know this? You know that this happened. Like, you disregarded all of that just because of how big of a deal this man is. And he's not, I don't feel like he's saying that in a flexing way. Like, he's saying that in like a cautionary way. Like, dude, you guys are really putting me on like a big pedestal here. Like, you need to chill out and like realize that I'm a person like everybody else.
That and these hoes are really out here, bro.
Dude, yeah. I mean, you might be experiencing it more now than ever. That like you're able to go to, I guess, fancier places. I guess live T-Pain's life in Houston. Essentially, you're allowed to do that now. So you may experience that more than I can. But yeah, that's probably hard.
It is really hard because it leaves you with a sense of paranoia. Like, I kind of understand why like Kanye is a bit of the way he is now that I've been in similar situations to him, where like women are really just trying to get at you for the clout. Like, and it makes you just like question everything. It's just like,
and he says it in the song.
Yeah, it's like, why do I have this money if I can't be real with you? Like, why did I? Why? It's like, it almost feels like money sometimes could be a curse, because it's like 16-year-old me was dreaming of being where I'm at now, but now that I'm here, it's not real. So it's like, what's real?
Yeah, but then we all get to the controversial part of the song where he's like, You see, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I fuck with Ye. That's my third person. That's my bipolar shit, nigga. What? That's my superpower. Nigga ain't no disability. I'm a superhero. Kanye West rant.
Yeah, and I know both of us have different stances on this. For me, in conjunction with the Charlemagne interview, where he told Charlemagne he, A, is diagnosed with a mental illness, and B, he is actively choosing not to seek professional help, whether it be through therapy, medication, or any form of professional help for his mental illness. That, in connection with this verse, where based off of the tone and cadence, it sounds like he's toning down what his disability is, and B, is turning it into a superpower, can be dangerous because it implies, superheroes are here to do things that other humans can't for a good reason. It almost implies to me that that his mental illness gives him superpowers, which makes him above everybody else, which is a good thing. And it implies that he does not have to work on his mental illness. Instead, he can use it to do more cool shit instead. And that, I think, is dangerous because his message, Kanye as a human being, has such a cultural impact on society. Per Rosenberg on Hot 97, Kanye West swung the African American vote 10% to Donald Trump just because Kanye came out and said what he said. Not during the voting season, but in terms of actual support for Trump. It happened by 10%. That's a sizable chunk. Because Kanye has that type of impact, for him to be saying such a message where he's turning his disability into a superhero power, not getting mental help, and also bragging about it, I think is dangerous because we as a society in the past few years have been working really, really hard into making mental health more of a cognizant issue, something that's more acceptable to talk about. And through being able to talk about it, we should be able to help more people. And I feel like Kanye, whether he consciously knows it or not, is kind of pulling that message back a couple of years, which is like going to be to the detriment of all of us because he is that iconic. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's something that definitely has the potential to pay a detriment to society, especially in the Black community, because often we have I can only speak for the Black community because I'm Black, but this may be the same in other communities. But oftentimes when you're growing up and you say like something's wrong as a child, like mentally with you, it gets put in a category of like religious folk of, oh, there's a demon trying to attack you, you just need to be prayed for and you're fine, or there's nothing wrong with you, you're just not trying hard enough, and then you just get disciplined for that. And I think we're definitely progressing in a positive way out of those two realms of thought, but that still is a big issue in today's society, in the Black community, in my opinion, once again. So I think that's something that needs to be cautioned towards when listening to this song, but at the same time, Ye is a person. He's allowed to express himself in any way he feels if he wants to, but he also does carry a large platform. This is a tough one, definitely, to discuss. What's your guys' take on mental illness? Comment in the comment section below what you think about this. Let's move on to track 3, All Mine.
You supermodel, ass busting out the bottom. I'ma lose my mind in it. Get the rubbing on my lap, get the chini out the If I pull up with a Kerry Washington, that's gonna be an enormous scandal. I could have Naomi Campbell and still might want me a Stormy Daniels. Sometimes you gotta bag the boss up. I call that taking Corey Gambles. Find yourself up in the food court, you might have to enjoy your sample. All these thoughts on Chris and Mingle, almost what got Tristan single.
That was just like a Ye track. Like that's just the Ye turnout track, you know. It's just, I think that's the Kanye like party track like that you were kind of looking for in the cut for this album, regardless of, you know, where Ye is at in terms of his career. You knew this was going to be a track Kanye was going to give to you, and he gave it to you, so I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all.
Dude, yeah. Once again, Ye comes out with the notable Ye lines, and I love that the lyricism for Ye is so much better than some of the stuff he was putting out before, like Life of Pablo and Yeezus. Yeezus is probably the worst thing I've heard in a long time. But besides that, he definitely came back with the lyrics in this album. Specifically, when he starts the second verse, but if I pull up with a Kerry Washington, that's going to be an enormous scandal. I could have Naomi Campbell and still might want me a Stormy Daniels. Sometimes you got to back the boss up. I call that taking Corey Gambles. I was like, yo, yeah, coming in with the killer bars, bro. So Ye with the mad flex. And the fact that Ye has the confidence to say this, knowing that he holds the baddest chick in the game, Kim Kardashian, not only bad for her looks, bad for her business. This woman is a mogul. This woman runs female fashion, female influence, all of the above. Knowing that he has her on his side, and he's still saying this shit, bro. Like, no other man would be that comfortable with himself to be like, yo, I'm gonna say this, and I'm still gonna love you, and you still gonna love me, and I don't care what happens because I know that our love is real, and you know that these bars are just bars, and I'm gonna just have to flex on them to let them know what's really out here, because I really could have any of these girls. It's like, yo, Ye is really doing it, bro.
And even going back to those lines, like, it's just the feeling that all men feel, because like you can even have the baddest black chick, but like you can just be waking up and feeling like, yo, I need some white females in my life. Like I just need something different, bro. It's like food almost. Like some days you're gonna wake up and have the thoughts of wanting different shit. Like that's just male nature.
Yeah.
And we have to consciously make the effort to fight that off as men. And that's a struggle only guys will know. Like women can understand it from a distance, but they'll never understand how hard that is as a guy.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make us like misogynists for acknowledging it. We just acknowledge it, but our actions are what speak on it, you know?
Yeah, even scientifically, I mean, genetically, it is proven. Like, men are genetically made to spread their seed. Like, evolutionarily, it is best for us to impregnate as many women as possible because evolutionarily, the goal is to reproduce, is to pass along your genes, and that's what we're trying to do. Even, like, behavioral evolution shows that, like, men are the providers. They're also, like, the reproducing agent. Yes, the women are the mode of reproduction, but we are the agent for causing reproduction. I'm not saying that women can't feel that way as well. Like, there are lots of sexual women out there, and I think this is a good segue to talk about polygamy versus monogamy. But when you're already in a monogamous relationship, especially when you're married, I feel like it goes to another level. Like, I'm not married, so I can't say that, but I'm practically married because I've been in a relationship for 4 years, and shit's tough.
Damn, I forgot you were dating Emily for that long. Good for y'all, man. Congrats. Yo, we're gonna put a round of applause in for y'all lasting that long. Seriously, that's impressive, dude. Shout out you and shout out Emily Westerberg, because we've never shouted her out on this podcast.
Yeah, man. I see you, babe. I see you out there grinding, making 3 times as much as me. I'm your sugar baby. Do you?
So now that we're done talking about All Mine, we've already talked about Wouldn't Leave. We're going to skip that and go straight into No Mistakes.
Make no mistake, girl, still love you. Make no mistake, girl, still love you. Take the top off, let the sun come in. Whoa, for all my dogs that stay down, we up again.
My mans was feeling himself.
This was the Kanye flex. Yeah, I think this was definitely one of the biggest Kanye flexes off the album.
And the Charlie Wilson like chorus at the very end with Kid Cudi in the background, amazing.
Anything you put Charlie Wilson on is going to be amazing. But I didn't feel like that was because of Charlie Wilson. This is probably the first time I felt like Charlie Wilson was a good addition, but not the focal point of the song. Just a good addition. Like, think about the Charlie Wilson songs that have happened throughout history. Most recently, the Amine Charlie Wilson track was great, but when you add Charlie Wilson to the song, it definitely makes the song. Think back to the second most popular Charlie Wilson song in my life, Signs, Snoop Dogg, Justin Timberlake, Charlie Wilson. One of the best songs, in my opinion, one of the best pop songs of all time. But Charlie Wilson's vocals made that song. This song does not feel that way. Like, somehow Kanye was able to weave Charlie Wilson's voice into the song sonically and lyrically to where it's just a part of the song. Like, everything is so well balanced. And you mentioned that earlier, like in this album, like everything is so well balanced. I like Kanye taking his time for things like this.
Yeah, Kenton, you did a really good job of acknowledging the thing that I think both of us have picked up on now, which is that the features on this track, especially Charlie Wilson's voice on this song, makes it feel like it's just part of the song rather than a feature. Like, you don't think of it like Kanye saying this stuff and then Charlie Wilson having his part now. It's like, this is one song and this is one voice.
Agreed.
But we're not going to leave this song without talking about that little Drake snipe he gets in at the end of his first verse. I'll break down these lyrics really, really quick, but I'm pretty sure y'all have heard this. If you didn't pick up on this, now you know. Too close to snipe you. Truth be told, I like you. Too bold to type you. Too rich to fight you. Calm down, you light skin.
Ah! Ah! All the smoke.
But Ye keeps it real. I don't even think it's smoke. I think it's just being honest. That's why I like Good Music's stance on this whole beef with Drake. Is just like, yo, we're just gonna speak our truths and how we see the opinions on the matter. And the way it shakes out, Like, Kanye acknowledges, like, yo, like, you live in my neighborhood. Like, we play basketball together. Like, dude, I like you. We're friends. But now you're trying to come at me in a certain type of way where I would have thrown hands by now and we would have settled it by this, but we're too rich to do that. So you need to just, like, sit the fuck down real quick, you light-skinned motherfucker.
Actually, Ye deaded the argument this morning. He tweeted, I've never been about beef. I'm about love. Lines are crossed, and it's not good for anyone. So this is dead now.
Now we're just going to wrap this up with the last song, which is Ghost Town.
But everything I try just takes you further from me.
Whoa. Once again I am a child. I let go of everything that I know. Yeah.
Giant teaser for the new project that's coming out at the end of this week, I think next Friday, right? Which is the Kid Cudi Kanye album. This is pretty much a track that was supposed to be on there, that Kanye just felt like moving on to his album. And to be honest, I think the ending of this song is like one of the things that stood out to me in the most positive of ways. Like, if you're talking about just like beauty, the way that this song ends is amazing. Like, I love the sonics behind it. I love the lyrics, the contents. Like, just putting my hand on the stove just to see if I can breathe. Like, I love that.
Yeah, this song gives me really good hope for the Cudi Kanye album. More so for Cudi, because as big of a flop for me that Jesus was, the satellite shit that Cudi put out was way worse, like magnitudes worse sonically and lyrically. And that's not just coming from me as a mild Cudi fan, that's coming from big Cudi fans. Like, the album was shit. So I'm really expecting something good from Cudi because I really like Cudi. Like, we grew up with Cudi. Some people even like experimented throughout Cudi's peak, which was a huge peak for drugs and all other sorts of things. But looking at the song as a whole, I think the song was a cool rock break from all the other stuff, like all the major hip-hop stuff that was going on before, but not even just a rock break. Like, I think this really shows the diversity of Kanye West and like what genres he can touch into musically. He can really hit like any sort of field or genre of music that he wishes to, and this shows in his production like how well he can execute that and still provide great lyrics at the same time. Like, the Kanye verse on here is still good. Like, I really do like his verse.
Also, another thing about Cudi real quick before we wrap all of this up is I believe Cudi has been back since Passion Pain and Demon Slayin'. That last project he dropped, I liked. I actually do like that album.
You like Satellite?
No, not Satellite. Passion Pain and Demon Slayin'. The album that came out.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was like last year. Yeah, somewhere around like last year or 2 years ago. I like that album. Satellite was ass. Satellite was the worst album I've heard from Cudi ever. But Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying, the more recent album, I did like. It gave me hope. I don't think it reached the peaks that we could see Cudi get to, but it was trending in the right direction for him for sure. So I hope he builds on this momentum moving forward, especially into this project coming out next week.
Yeah, I forgot that Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying even came out because I didn't really listen to it that heavy. I listened to it maybe a couple times, and then I was like, all right, it's an okay Cudi album. Yeah. But yeah, I forgot about that. That's a good point.
It was to the point where Satellite was such ass, it made you not want to listen to Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying.
So true though.
Alright, man, so that wraps it up for Ye. We got a whole...
No, dude, we didn't go over Violent Crimes.
Dude, that was the first track I talked about.
That was your favorite track you talked about, but we didn't actually go into the track. We just talked about what we thought about the track as a whole.
Alright, yeah, sure. Let's delve into it some more if you want. Let's do it. Because this is my favorite track.
Man. We have to, because this is the best song on the album to me.
Yeah, or none. I think it's levels above the other songs. And I'll let you lead the charge since we want to talk about it some more. What else do you want to get off your chest about Violent Crimes?
There's a couple lines in here that I need to point out particular. One, I thought that the beginning of Violent Crimes was a Chance feature because it sounded kind of like Chance-like, but it's actually not Chance at all. It's this artist called 070 or 070 Shake. I don't know how they say their name, but it was giving me some Chance vibes, so I like it. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so Ye starts out with niggas is savage, niggas is monsters, niggas is pimps, niggas is players. Till niggas have daughters, now they precautious. Father, forgive me, I'm scared of the karma. I think that's something we all share. We talked about that earlier. But the part that really resonated with me was with when he was talking about, I answered the door like Will Smith and Martin. Nigga, do we have a problem? Matter of fact, Marlon, this ain't Meet the Fockers. I'll beat his ass. Pray I beat the charges. I got so hyped when I heard that line because I was like, yo, if I have a daughter, that's exactly what I will be doing. I'm going in. I will be a savage. I don't care. Because I know what I'm trying to do at this moment. I can only imagine what someone else is going to be trying to do to my daughter. And then he talks about how his daughter is the daughter of Kim Kardashian, one of the most beautiful women on this planet. So they're going to have their daughter is going to be really beautiful and attractive when she gets older. And thinking about that and how heavy that's got to be for him, knowing man, I'm Kanye West, I'm great, I'm married to Kim Kardashian, she's greater, and I have a daughter that's gonna look like Kim Kardashian. Natural Kim Kardashian, of course, excuse all the surgeries or whatever, but nevertheless, natural Kim K was still bad. And now I'm gonna have to protect her from the pervs on the net. That part was something that I didn't think about, but definitely was heavy. And then just general dudes that are approaching her and people in this world. And so I was like, man, as a person who's getting closer to the point of having a child, not really anywhere near that in the next 5 years, but approaching that stage of my life, these are all things that I really appreciate hearing because it's validation of things that I was thinking about I would say and how I would feel, but the fact that he's also feeling this way and multiple people are feeling that way kind of leads me to believe okay, these are natural thoughts. It's okay for me to be super protective of my daughter, but not to a crazy extent. But just thinking about that in general, he really made me think about fatherhood in a way that I don't think I've ever thought about it because I'm not a father. I'm not expecting to be a father anytime soon. Shouts out to STD Free Gang. Also, no pregnancy. Hey, let's go.
Yeah, and with that being said, that wraps it up for our Ye podcast. Dropping soon will be our actual regular monthly review for the month of May. We still haven't done that yet. We just wanted to do this one first. That'll be dropping in a couple of days, so look out for that. And new episodes of NBA Clinic coming. Hopefully another Stay Tuned episode in the next 2 weeks. So look out for that. If you haven't liked this video or clicked subscribe, go ahead and do that. Because I'm a thirsty hoe. And I need this to boost my self-confidence. We out. Let's get it.
Scoop. Whoop.
Whoopie whoop.